The mockery of Earth's arsenal, the great assembly hall of Kepler Station, floated majestically in the void between three massive gas giants. Its crystalline structure stretched for kilometers, housing representatives from 47 different species that made up the Galactic Trade Federation. Today was special. Today, they would review the application of a small blue-green world called Earth. Captain Elena Rodriguez straightened her uniform as she walked through the station's gleaming corridors. At 45, she had spent her entire career preparing for this moment. Behind her walked Lieutenant Commander James Park, carrying a sealed briefcase containing Earth's military and technological specifications. Both humans moved with quiet confidence, though they knew the odds were stacked against them. Inside the assembly hall, beings of incredible diversity filled floating platforms that adjusted to each species' unique environmental needs. The Zeltharians floated in tanks of methane-rich atmosphere, their tentacled forms graceful and fluid. The crystalline Vex delegation sparkled like living diamonds, their bodies generating soft harmonic frequencies. At the center platform, the ancient Nexari maintained their position of honor, their energy-based consciousness flickering within containment fields that had held them for millennia. High Arbiter Thex 9 of the Nexari raised his glowing form to address the assembly. His voice resonated through universal translators, reaching every being in the vast hall. Distinguished members of the Federation, we gather to evaluate the application of the species calling themselves humans from the Sol system. A ripple of polite interest moved through the assembly. New species applications were always entertaining, though most were quickly categorized and assigned appropriate levels of access to galactic trade and technology. Captain Rodriguez stepped forward onto the central speaking platform. The artificial gravity adjusted to match Earth's specifications, and atmospheric processors created a bubble of breathable air around her. "Honored delegates," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the translation network. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez, representing the United Earth Defense Coalition. We come before you seeking membership in your great federation." Counselor Vex Prime, a towering crystalline being whose faceted surface reflected the chamber's lights, leaned forward with obvious amusement. "And what do you offer to our advanced civilization, Captain? What technologies have your people developed that might benefit the galaxy?" Elena activated her holographic display, showing images of Earth's military capabilities. "Our primary defensive systems are based on electromagnetic acceleration technology. We have developed what we call railgun platforms capable of accelerating projectiles to significant velocities." The chamber fell silent for a moment. Then unexpectedly, soft laughter began to ripple through the assembly. The sound grew louder as more delegates joined in, until the entire hall echoed with amused chatter. "Did she say railguns?" asked Ambassador Court of the Drakmari Empire, his reptilian features twisted in disbelief. "As in, throwing pieces of metal really fast?" "Electromagnetic acceleration," repeated Thex 9, his energy form flickering with what could only be interpreted as mirth. "How wonderfully primitive. Most species develop that technology shortly after they discover electricity." Elena maintained her composure as the laughter continued. She had expected this reaction. "Our railgun systems can achieve muzzle velocities of approximately 50 kilometers per second," she continued calmly. This brought fresh waves of amusement. Counselor Mech 7 of the Hegemony floated higher in his anti-gravity field. 50 kilometers per second? My personal transport moves faster than that. Our plasma weapons achieve near light-speed energy projection. "Show us these magnificent weapons," called out Representative Flux of the Quantum Collective, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Elena nodded to Lieutenant Commander Park, who activated the detailed technical specifications. The holographic display showed Earth's orbital defense platforms, massive ring-shaped structures that looked crude compared to the elegant energy weapons common throughout the galaxy. The presentation showed human railguns in action, simple metal projectiles loaded into electromagnetic launchers, accelerated through magnetic fields and fired at distant targets. The impacts were impressive by human standards, creating massive craters and destroying large structures. But to beings who could manipulate matter at the quantum level and harness the power of stars, it looked like children playing with slingshots. "Fascinating," commented Scholar Hex 12 of the Nexari, though his tone suggested anything but fascination. "And how much energy does it require to achieve these impressive velocities?" Approximately 12 terawatts per shot for our heaviest platforms, Elena replied. The chamber erupted in fresh laughter. 12 terawatts was an enormous amount of energy by human standards, enough to power a major city for months, but galactic civilizations routinely manipulated energies measured in yottawatts, levels that could power entire solar systems. 12 terawatts, repeated Counselor Vex Prime, his crystalline form chiming with amusement. To throw a piece of metal. Our children's toys require more energy than that. High Arbiter Thex 9 called for order as the laughter died down. Captain Rodriguez, while we appreciate your earnest presentation, it's clear that your species is still in very early stages of technological development. Kinetic weapons are what primitive civilizations use when they first leave their homeworlds. Elena had expected this dismissal, but she pressed on. Our industrial capacity is significant. We can produce these systems in large quantities and have established manufacturing bases throughout our solar system. Quantity over quality, mused Ambassador Court. How typically primitive. Building many simple weapons instead of a few advanced ones. The discussion continued for another hour, but the outcome was never in doubt. The humans were clearly a backward species, probably only centuries removed from discovering fire. Their weapons were crude, their technology basic, and their understanding of physics limited to the most elementary principles. We will grant you associate membership status, High Arbiter Thex 9 finally announced. You may establish limited trading posts in designated outer rim territories, far from important shipping lanes. Perhaps in a few thousand years you'll develop real technology. Elena accepted the decision with grace that impressed even the cynical delegates. We are grateful for this opportunity and look forward to learning from your advanced civilizations. As the session ended and delegates began to disperse, few gave the humans another thought. They were just another developing species among thousands, destined to spend millennia slowly learning real science. In the official records, someone noted that humans had requested extensive asteroid mining rights and orbital construction permits. How charmingly inefficient. The galaxy moved on, focused on far more important matters than one small species and their amusing habit of throwing metal really, really fast.